Women are too emotional to manage pressure. You'll break under real responsibility. That's what my boss said in a room filled with executives after I proposed a data-driven strategy to rescue our third quarter budget. The smirk on his face wasn't just arrogance, it was tradition. A tradition that told women like me we didn't belong. He didn't flinch, he didn't whisper, he spoke like he was reciting a company policy. I didn't yell, I didn't flinch either. I smiled calmly, shut my notepad, and said, "Then I guess I'll just have to prove you wrong." Silently. But inside, a storm had begun. That night, I stayed in the office, not to cry, not to stew, to document. Every meeting I'd attended, every suggestion that was dismissed, every time he repeated my idea a week later as his own, I compiled it all. I studied our HR policy like a scientist. I learned the language of compliance, timelines, reporting structures, and ethical red flags. And then I began a new mission: to lead without being given the title. I requested to take over the least productive team in the division, a team nobody wanted to lead. Within weeks, I stopped trying to be liked. I focused on being effective. I introduced simple things that created real shifts: weekly one-on-ones, anonymous feedback forms, transparent metrics. I celebrated wins openly and acknowledged mistakes quietly. The team's morale shifted. People started showing up early, volunteering, offering ideas. 3 months later, we outperformed every other team, including my bosses. Still, he claimed the credit. He submitted our results as his, but I was documenting, screenshotting, archiving. Then came the quarterly board report. He was supposed to present it. It was a disaster. Why? Because he hadn't done the work. I recreated the presentation overnight, complete with metrics, risk analysis, and cost-saving projections. When the board asked who was responsible, he stammered. I calmly took the clicker, stood up, and walked them through it. I didn't speak loudly, but I spoke clearly, with facts. Afterward, I received an anonymous note from one of the board members. "If only all managers spoke like you." Weeks passed. My name began surfacing in emails from HR and the C-suite. Ask her. Let her lead that. No official promotion, no announcement. But I was leading anyway. Then came a departmental restructuring. A senior role opened up. He applied. So did I. He sent in a long resume. I sent in a report book. Documented wins, team stats, peer endorsements, feedback from clients. During the interview, I said one sentence that sealed it. I don't manage people. I empower them. When I was offered the position, I didn't scream. I accepted with the same calm he once mocked. He congratulated me awkwardly. I replied, "Thank you. I hope we both continue to grow." Because revenge, to me, wasn't about humiliation. It was about clarity, consistency, excellence. In my new role, I didn't become him. I didn't gatekeep. I didn't hoard power. I created space. I found the quiet interns, the shy analysts, the overlooked moms who left at 5 p.m. sharp, and I mentored them. One by one, they rose. I started a leadership roundtable for women, not just for policy change, for perspective. We didn't talk about fighting harder, we talked about fighting smarter. One attendee told me, "You're the only leader who doesn't make me feel like I have to shout to be seen." He was moved to another division quietly. No press, no farewell email. He left behind chaos, old policies, and broken trust. I rewrote it all. Every policy I signed became a message. We lead with intention here. At a Women in Leadership conference, I opened my keynote with, "They told me I was too emotional to lead. I turned that emotion into strategy." A pause. Applause. After that day, I got more messages than I could read. Not fans, not followers, but women, telling me their own silent victories. One of my mentees now runs her own team. She once whispered to me, "They never notice me in meetings." Now she runs them. She never had to shout. She just had to be seen, and I made sure she was. Today, my leadership isn't flashy, but it's firm. I coach, I listen, I document, and I teach others to do the same. Because someday someone will doubt them, and they'll smile quietly and say, "Then I'll just have to prove you wrong." I don't need a title to lead. I never did. Because leadership isn't about volume, it's about vision. And I saw this life, this future, before they ever believed it was mine. So, yes, I'm emotional. That's why I care. That's why I notice what others miss. That's why my teams thrive. And that's why I now sit at the table they once said I couldn't reach, not to prove them wrong, but to prove to every woman watching you never had to become